morning. I thought it was time that I shared on this page really a bit about who I am and why I started this page. I'm overwhelmed at the amount of people that have subscribed to the page, and I really want to make it an empowering community that really supports emotional wealth. It's so important at the moment, and I think ever more is going to be so. But again, as I say, I just want to share more about me. So I'm Sarah. I'm 44, live in Gloucestershire in the UK. I have suffered with my mental health really throughout most of my life at the age of 44, and battled really to gain an understanding of why. I think that is one of the major things that I really want to get across to people and be able to support. Obviously, I did my master's in mental health. I've worked with mental health first aid for England as a mental health first aider. But really, it's been a self-exploration journey. It's been toing and froing to the doctors, as I'm sure a lot of you have experienced, on and off different types of antidepressants, medication, periods of extreme lows, and highs. So I really struggled to find out why, to identify how I could break through this kind of cycle that I was in. I have all the self-help books I think Amazon could ever deliver, and I enjoy reading and I enjoy learning, and I think that there are a lot of different ways out there that people can kind of identify. I had spent years going through not really identifying whether it was depression, anxiety, stress, until I stumbled upon going through a doctor's actually, my mental health being re-referred, and discovering PTSD. And I hadn't identified that was something that would have affected me. Trauma to me was something bigger, was something huge, and I really hadn't identified that could have been there in my life. And then I looked back over, what I'd experienced in my life, and I realised that, unfortunately, some 20 years ago, I'd been in a relationship which was extremely emotionally and physically abusive. I'd been in that relationship for 3 years, and I had obviously buried that extremely deep within myself. I then went on from that into a relationship that I married and had children. I had my first child through emergency C-section, and I remember coming out of having Jack, my eldest son, and just feeling numb, wondering why I didn't get that experience of the glow, why I didn't get that experience that everybody else should as a mother, and didn't realise how complex emergency C-section was. And that's another instigator for trauma. Nobody had told me. It's a huge operation. It's massive, not only having a new child, but going through major surgery. So I then had a second child, again by C-section, but not by emergency. So having had both the boys and a full-on career, I was in recruitment, so I worked extremely hard while both boys were very young, realised the importance of being in work and staying in work, felt the pressures of society really to keep going. I worked in business development, where I was toing and froing to London very frequently. I remember at one point having a horse and getting up at 4:30 in the morning, getting the boys off to a friend and getting the 6:30 train to London. All of those things kind of build up within us. But unfortunately, 3 years ago, I realised that the relationship I was in wasn't a bad relationship. It just was, as I think many people realise, more of a friendship. I'd probably stumbled into that following my trauma. And then, so I divorced. And again, another traumatic experience. I moved out, I built a life for myself, and I'm extremely happy. But again, all of these things, all of these bumps along the road kind of really build up within us. And I think sometimes we're like those Russian dolls that you get where, you know, there's one with inside the other, with inside the other, with inside the other, and we hide all of those things. So that's why I'm here. I'm really, really passionate about being able to share everything and, you know, really building a community that supports. That's the main thing for me, something that's empowering and nurturing and inspirational to people, because there is a way. There is, you know, one size doesn't fit all. There's things that will help one person that don't help the next. But that's why I believe we're all here. And I really, really, really want to be able to together support and, you know, nurture emotional health as much as possible. So have a good day and thanks for watching.